Welcome back to my channel, guys. Wow, I really match the wall of my hotel room here. It feels very mysterious, right? It's like, where am I filming this video? But I'm really just in my hotel room in Barcelona. That's not what this video is about. This video is yet another stream of consciousness video about this epiphany I had today at lunch, and I was curious what you guys think about this. So when I entered the restaurant today for lunch to have some tapas, I sort of sheepishly, in English, said, "Can I grab a table? Can I sit to eat?" And the reason I say that I vocalize this sheepishly is that I just always feel self-conscious speaking English in a foreign place where English is not the native language. Obviously, it's 2024 at the time of this video. You know, most people in these big cities, international, tourist hub cities like Barcelona, they have enough of a basic English understanding most of the time to understand what you're saying. But to me, it's just a respect thing. Like, if I don't speak the local language, I'd rather use hand gestures and use the minimal words that I do know in their language, in the local language, and otherwise keep my English to a minimum, just in the case that they're not fluent and that they might not understand every detail. Ironically, more so than not, I've had people here be like, "You can speak English." Like, a lot of people speak English here, even among locals. Like, English is in some places becoming more common than Spanish because of how many expats there are in the city. So it's just funny the things that we overthink or are self-conscious about that might actually create more hurdles for ourselves than anything. But anyway, I digress. Thinking about all this, I wondered, do we even need language at this point in 2024? As a tourist, I mean, when you're traveling? Meaning, we live in such a visual culture at this point. We have technology at our fingertips through our phones. I'm thinking just back to COVID, when every restaurant, when they reopened, had a QR code, right? And some of them still are using that in touristy regions to avoid the back and forth with a server, them getting you the menu, figuring out the right language of the menu, right? And even just talking about menus for a second, when I was in France, even though I speak French, there were so many things that I had no idea what they meant in French. Then I would use my phone to translate to English. Didn't know what it meant in English either, so I was like, these are definitely esoteric terms that are, meant to sort of enthuse, I think, tourists, like, ooh, such a sophisticated part of the lamb or the chicken or whatever, like words that we don't even use in English. That again, per my point about, do we need language? I'm like, sometimes as a tourist, it seems to actually complicate things, even with the translations. Oftentimes it's not a logical translation, right? It's like an AI translation. And that made me think like why do we even use written menus at this point in 2024? Like, think about if you had a QR code and it opens a menu on your phone and it's all just visuals. A visual is enough, no? And then maybe like a little description, like maybe if you hover over it, it explains in the language native on your phone. So maybe where your phone is registered, maybe that's how I would detect the language, or maybe you select it when you open the menu. Are you following me here? Even regardless of phones and QR codes, I'm just saying we already use visuals for so many things to indicate a universal understanding, right? I was looking for a bathroom today because I walked forever in Barcelona, and everywhere I went, I looked for the bathroom sign. It's universal. A woman next to a man, right? Or like sometimes it says WC. I love that acronym. So such an elegant way to say you're gonna go pee. But think about it, we have visuals for so many things to cut out the complexity of language. When you're driving down the street, you have stop signs, you have yield signs, there's shapes, right? Shapes and colors, a street light, right? You don't even need to see what the symbol says, and there are typically no words anyway, right? It's a person walking, green or red. It got me thinking about how we perceive English as, I would say today in 2024, the closest thing to a universal language, right? You go to an airport, typically anything you need to know is written in the local language, and then right under it will be in English. But I wonder in 50 years, will the universal language really just be visuals as opposed to an actual language? Is the next step for language just using visuals and relying on our technology like QR codes to make sense of everything around us? Of course, the one detail I'm not highlighting here, which is pretty significant, and that's why I'm referring to all this in the specific context of traveling as a tourist. The one thing you're missing out on when you don't rely on language, right, is connection with other human beings. Like, that's central to language and to expressing how you feel and trying to get a point across. Communication is vital to, I think, to our survival, to our well-being. So I'm not saying we should totally abolish language, but I'm saying in the context of making travel and tourism as easy as possible, right? Is this the next step in human culture evolution on a global level? Is this making sense? I had a lot of coffee today, so maybe this is just a manic thought. I'm curious what you think about this. Let me know in the comments.